Colin, I wanted to talk to you. I know you're a transfer student.
Yes.
So of course that's, affected your college experience in a certain sense.
Absolutely.
And then I also want to talk to you further about why does it sometimes feel, or why does it often feel, that community college gets such a bad rap? It's seen so pejoratively. It feels like
So community college gets a bad rap because people are really elitist. The reason I went to community college is because I did horrible in high school. I had like a 2.7 GPA. Like I was terrible. So I got my shit figured out, and then I went to community college. I worked 2 jobs, and I saved a bunch of money, and then I came here, and it was dirt cheap, and I don't have very much debt, But a lot of the thing, too, is it's inexpensive. I think it's very much stigmatized because of people like me who go because they did horrible in high school.
Because they did, but poorly.
But everyone I've met, most of the people I've met in community college are just extremely bright individuals.
Right.
Or parents who are going back, and I don't know. It kind of sucks. It's kind of how trade school is stigmatized in a way.
Yeah.
Where you're way better off doing that, but because you're not in college, and they'll never admit it.
Right.
Because every person who would have been like, I went to community college or I'm in community college, are like, great, that's awesome. Wish I did that. You could sense
it goes up.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow. Yeah, you can always tell.
Are you Canadian?
Yeah. They're like, what a good idea. Should have did that. I'm in debt. But yeah, I think there's a little bit of elitism in that, which is fine. I'm used to it.
It just seems short-sighted because it seems like a pretty shrewd decision. Like even regardless of the fact that a lot of people there might be there because it did poorly in high school, they're still saving a lot of money, as you said.
Absolutely, yeah.
The cost of education has only gone up when
if I could do it again, I would do community college.
Same thing.
I
all the way through.
Well, no, I mean I would get my associates again.
Okay.
Because I met a lot of really great people, and I learned how to be a good student. And, I tutored for a while, writing and humanities, and
that's great.
Now I'm doing, I'm on track to graduate with high honors.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
It's very exciting.
Try to just flex on you a little bit.
Yeah, I like it.
But
as you should. You should.
Well, yeah, because I'm proud of myself, and that's a interesting feeling.
Damn straight.
Yeah,
well,
man.
I think it's a good feeling.
Yeah.
One you should chase.
Definitely.
You mentioned trade school also being something that's stigmatized. I think that's true, although I would say I feel like that's changing a little now.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I feel like people are really wising up to the fact that not only do a lot of these jobs, plumbing, electricians, it makes a lot of money, but it's also in high demand. There's so few of these people now because everyone's gone the route of the academic.
Electricians, especially.
engineer.
There's like a shortage of electricians in Jersey.
I've heard about that.
Really you even if you're in trade school, you can get an apprenticeship with a heartbeat and make good money. I have a buddy of mine he's a plumber, he's a plumber assistant or something, like not full fledged, but he works in plumbing.
Mm-hmm.
He makes bank. He's got his own place and everything.
That's great.
Down here, you've seen my apartment. I'm just I'm just scraping by.
This is a good shot of.
This is the only good shot of my apartment.
It's a hellscape.
He was like, I'm coming over. I'm like, I gotta find chairs. It's a nightmare in here.
Yeah, it ain't pretty. It could use some people who went to trade school coming here and spruce it up a little.
Yes. And I'm working 2 jobs and he's making more than me. And it's like
It's also one of those things. It's really difficult to automate just because it's so.
Oh yeah,
so
and I think it's also it's been ingrained in us since for generations.
Right.
Not to get all historical or whatever, but
Please do.
Fucking college has always been an avenue for success. So kids, the baby boomers, they would throw their kids in college. I was the only generation that had the privilege of not worrying about getting drafted and shit.
Right.
And they didn't have to go to work, and they could actually finish high school without worrying about things. They threw them into college, and now it's my dad always told me, it's his dad told him to go stay in school or just be digging ditches. You didn't pay. I'll dig ditches. It's silly.
Don't knock the ditch.
Yeah, man.
Don't knock the ditch.
It is what it is, I guess.
It is. It is what it is. You know who really hates that expression? Mark Norman.
Oh, really?
He's got, and people who say it is what it is.
Yeah. That's I honestly hate it too, but I'm not.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah, I'm not intelligent enough to think of something good to say. That's Gary Goldman has a bit like that, where he's like, he hates when people say those like catch-all BL phrases, like at the end of the day.
I listened to the thing that you recommended. Good one. It's another great podcast after the radio show.
I don't shut up about two things in comedy, and it's that podcast and the comedian Gary Goldman.
And Gary Goldman.
I plug him. I don't even know him. I've never met him. I've never been to any of his shows. I would love to, but he is a goddamn genius. Follow him on Twitter.
Yeah.
He's tweeting out
tips
for comics. Yeah. He seems like a lovely individual.
Yeah. Seems like a saint.
He's a goddamn saint, yeah, and he's so funny and smart, and like just well written comedy.
He is really great.
Just fantastic.
He is amazing.
Yeah.
Goldman, baby. Yeah, Good One. Good One is a great podcast. Colin showed it to me. Gary Goldman was on talking about his Trader Joe's bit.
The 20-minute long bit about his time at Trader Joe's. Yeah.
Who knew Trader Joe's is so ripe with comedy?
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, I thought it was just Haas avocados.
Well, that's the thing. It's like he taps into just something. And it's not like, because every comic, I feel like every comic is just like talking about things they hate, but he's like, I love Trader Joe's. Right. I hate the people that shop in it. You know? It's like, so he has like 10 minutes of just how much he loves the store. Yeah. You know? Yeah.
There's a lot to love there, too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
this particular TJ's where I trade, that's a great line.
And I know the Trader Joe's, too, that he's talking
about. Oh, really? Yeah. I always forget you live in the city.
Yeah.
I went to that bar and I saw your ID. I was like, where the fuck are you from?
Wait, which? Oh, we went to the
I forgot which one, but I saw you, like, give your ID.
You're like, that's not a Jersey.
Yeah, where are you? Who are you?
I'm an alien. So you were actually, I had Colin and I had another mutual friend of ours, Christopher Michael, on the original pilot of the Regular Folk Show. Couldn't be used.
We ruined it.
They ruined it. They tanked the podcast. I mean, granted, the audio and visual quality was poor. It was low.
He had like a whole bunch of questions and we're like, fuck your questions.
They just wanted to do whatever they wanted to do.
Yeah, that was great.
It was a good time. It was a lot of fun.
Release the footage.
I deleted it.
No! We demand to know what you're stifling.
Yeah, honestly, if I release that, you might not ever get hired anywhere.
Yeah. Not that I will anyway, I'm a history major.
Exactly. So. There we go. Just gonna teach history.
Should have went to trade school.
That's a good callback right there.
2-minute.
Yeah, 2-minute callback. Any callback kind of counts. Gary Goldman was talking actually in that good one about how he thinks like the callback's overrated or something.
Well, because I think when he was like,
I love the callback though.
In like the height of the boom, callbacks were amazing. Like every famous comedian you know, in their special they have callbacks.
Yeah, I mean, it's a classic part of
Mulaney, CK, all of them. They always do fucking callbacks, and but it's getting kind of overdone, and but it's a good tool. It's a good tool. Like I've been learning that in stand-up, there's a lot of like comedic mechanisms you can use to like make something funny. You know, like I was just talking to some other comics here about how whenever you're at an open mic, and you shouldn't use this for your shows, but it's a good thing if you don't like the dead space, which I don't mind, but a lot of people do.
Right.
Is if you're at an open mic and you say a joke and it doesn't go well, you can just be like, "Welp," and you like tag it, and then it almost always gets a laugh because it makes it real in a way. Because it's like, oh, you're acknowledging that you fucked up. It's like, so it's like a good like. But there's all these different mechanisms that comics will use. Well, like callbacks or crowd work or just classic misdirection joke structure.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing at all. It's
Goldman wasn't a fan. I was.
No.
Which I didn't agree with him on because I love him.
You like the callback?
I love a callback.
Yeah, I feel that that's
also it feels like it ties everything together.
That's the thing, right? It's like that. This is stuff that only comedians notice.
Kind of. Like, I guess that's true.
Well, I mean, in a way where it's like people who are just talking about like comedy theory every day, all day. It's like. If I showed my dad a special or like 20-minute bit and then ended with a callback, he'd probably like it because he's not a comedian or like anybody else. But if you show someone who's been like in the scene or even like just true like comedy nerds, they might feel different. But
because they're like it's a little tired.
Yeah. But most audiences aren't like super into comedy.
It's true.
Which I think we all forget about.
I think that is true. I don't know. I think people are perceptive of it though. Like,
oh yeah, I'm not trying to say they're idiots, but like
no, not even in terms of idiots, but like it's true they might not know that it's like a tool being used, but they definitely like something about it feels right. It's like, ooh, like I like because sometimes when people hear comedy, they're like, it was funny, but just felt like a lot of different ideas. Like so they were just giving me like different premises, different jokes every 40 seconds. Yeah. A la me.
well, that's also a thing too, where it's like
right.
So like a lot of people will see like like the greats and they make it look easy. That's like the best kind of comedian is where it's not like they're not even trying. They're just talking off of the dome, and really they know everything that's about to happen.
Right, they know all the turns, even though it seems so natural.
Yeah. So like, yeah, like and I'm every comic's guilty of it. I do stuff. I do this thing that a lot of comics will do, where like I introduce something and then I'll go on a tangent and then I'll just kind of let them sit in it for it should be like a 2-minute joke, but because I'm going on these tangents, it turns into like a 5 or 7 minute joke.
Right. And
I'll like sit in it and then I'll literally, it's like a callback in a way where I'll be like, all right, let's get back to this, and then that's funny because they forgot about it.
Right. And like, I thought we were talking about something else.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and a lot of comics do that, and it's it's just a mechanism. It's just kind of like a tool that every comedian will either do or be over after a while or keep in their act. It's
we kind of have them in other forms of entertainment or quote unquote media as well. Like I don't know, like in a book where like you're like figuring something out, or like a TV show. Like I feel like the audience is used to like having to do some sort of solving, like a little bit of a puzzle almost sometimes. I mean, not necessarily as much for comedy as say a book or a TV show or something like that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And that's sort of the beauty of that.
Right.
Of that this aspect of entertainment, where it's like any other leisure, it's crafted in like private with like a bunch of other people who are trying to work on it, or even if it's a book, you're showing your editor and you're doing it.
Right.
But it's like comedy, you're going to open mics and you're saying a joke about like your dick or something or whatever hack premise you have, and
sure.
I have and,
banana.
Yeah, exactly, and it's like you're gonna bomb. You're gonna bomb like 100 times before it's funny.
But if you use the callback.
Oh, I got meta if we call back a callback.
Call back a callback. That's what I'm talking about. Nice.